So they're back.
We are so back.
Reinvigorated by a number of weeks away. Well, I kind of am, but that's mainly because I basically didn't move for 4 weeks. Your mileage may vary, Chloe. I appreciate that, our geopolitical localities are moving broadly in the same direction, but at slightly different paces. So,
Uh-huh.
how was your Christmas?
Um, my Christmas was lovely. My New Year's was entirely fine because other than finding an excuse to go out and have some drinks with friends, it's an arbitrary holiday because guess what? Everything's the same. Whoop, 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 whoop. But you've come back rejuvenated. I have aged approximately 50 years in the, what is it, 3, 4 weeks that we've been gone?
Yeah.
So, but everything's fine. I had a breakdown and painted all of the furniture in my office pink.
So, Earthlets, we are off to a cracking start with
Yeah,
26.
doing good.
This is, and we
In
are back.
orbit every Wednesday, and we're back.
Get 2000 AD now. Get to
Borak Thung Earthlets, this is In Orbit Every Wednesday. I am your host, Molch-R, and this is your host, Chloe. And we are back for another season of In Orbit Every Wednesday, the galaxy's greatest podcast show. Obviously, it's been a lot. I got knocked out by the flu that's been going around beginning of December, and then kind of went into, I think I'd stored about 3 weeks of holiday. So I kind of staggered bleary-eyed into the new year, and haven't really recovered yet, if I'm brutally honest with you. But yeah, it's nice to be back. It's nice to be talking about 2000 AD. And for those of you who always say that you would like more of the prog, congratulations, this one's for you, because we're going to be talking about Prog 2464, which is the first Prog of 2026 and includes the brand new John Wagner Judge Dredd story.
Woo!
May or may not be significant.
Daddy's home.
um, So we're going to come and talk about that. I am very excited to let our listeners and viewers know that fairly soon, when I get my ass up into the North Midlands, John Wagner is going to be on this very podcast.
What?
Chatting about this story and about where he's been, because it's been ages since I've interviewed him.
Mhm.
I think the last time we had him on was the interview for the 45th anniversary like online convention. So it's been about 4 years. So a lot of water under the bridge since then. A lot of things happened. So yeah, looking forward to that. Very excited. It's always a joy
How
to talk
have you
about.
gotten to interview John so many times and I haven't yet?
Well, I mean, it's on the basis that I can go to the pub and buy him a drink.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, yeah, but I mean, you've been over here once. There's no reason why it couldn't happen again.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it happen. That's my resolve for the new year. I don't do resolutions, but I have resolves. And that's why
Well, as anybody who listened to the epic interview I did with him, bloody hell, a number of years ago now, it was in 2 parts. So the podcast started in 2015. So it must have been around about 2016, 2017. And I went up to his place and we sat in the pub and then retired back to his kitchen to continue chatting. I haven't had a hangover like that for a very long time before, and I've certainly not had one since. So whatever you do, if you do get the chance to interview him, Chloe, avoid the plum brandy.
I won't take that advice at all. At all.
It was like he had beaten me up. It was
Plum
oh,
brandy.
it was proper thing, but it was a great chat, and it's always just. I mean, it's a privilege. It is a privilege. I
Yeah.
recognize that to be able to sit down with him. So yeah, looking
That's why
forward.
I'm saying, like, shut the hell up over your hangover. You got to have a drink and chat with John. That's shush.
um, so yes, hopefully that will be sometime soon. He said, looking up at his diary and with all the kind of wavy lines in it that don't really make an awful lot of sense.
Oh, hopefully there's going to be a number of pretty good guests this year.
Oh yeah. We kind of
We
teased at the end of we kind of teased at the end of last year that there would be some exciting guests, and I'm going to hold us to that because
we've
I
we've
can't.
got
Yeah.
we've got hopefully a number of very good guests, and I won't say any more than that, but there's also boy howdy listeners, I have subjected Molch-R to a horrendous master list of theme ideas for this year. And based on the fact that I sent that to him 4 days ago and that he hasn't responded to it, I can only assume that he was just sobbing quietly in a corner over the things that I am posing that we talk about on this lovely podcast in the year 2026.
I mean, you're putting a lot of faith in my ability to read emails in a coherent way. But yes, I mean, the those of you who have been listening to the podcast all last year will know that we have something of a track record of in the kind of in the moment when we're both fizzing with ideas and we're in the middle of a discussion, we'll just go, oh, well, and we've got to talk about that. And you'll get very excited whenever I say that. And we go, yeah. We'll talk about that later. And then I think we followed that up like twice
Yeah,
in
but now we have a list.
exactly.
We have a
It's
real
it's on my
list.
screen. There's a lot of question marks on this document, Chloe. I mean, that one will get us sued. That
That
one,
one will get us sued, that one will get us shanked, like
that one is just intended to embarrass me. Yeah, so we're going to have a discussion about this anyway. We're rambling, but yes, very exciting guests. Some great themed episodes because looking at the analytics from last year, it's quite clear that you guys love us talking about the prog, but you also love the themed ones where we kind of dive into a particular subject about 2000 AD.
I'm telling you, the people like to see us just go off like bottle rockets.
Speak for yourself. I'm more of
I'm just saying, I think that we should invite people. Which do you prefer, when we are idiots with a theme or when we are able to talk about the prog? Which one's your favorite? Please feel free to comment so that I can be proven right.
oh no. But yes, it's looking to be a really thrill-powered year, not just on the podcast, but also for 2000 AD. And in particular, in this issue, well, it's 2465 this week. 2464 was last week. We've got the John Wagner, Mike Perkins, and colors by Chris Blythe and letters by Annie Parkhouse.
Woo.
Death of a Judge. Now, I suspect this is going to take up a chunk of our time on this episode.
Probably.
Because there's lots to kind of unpack. John's not been much of a presence in the prog over the last few years. You know, he's come along, done various stories here and there, but it's very clear he's kind of slowed down. I obviously will talk to him about this when I go up to interview him. but the implication, the suggestion, to be confirmed by the big man himself, is that this may well be his swan song on Judge Dredd.
Which
Now,
is fine.
which is fine,
We should be
and
happy.
I kind of don't want to dwell on whether it is or it isn't, or whether it leaves the door open and blah blah blah. Because
It's not ours to say.
exactly. But what I do briefly want to touch on is the implications of that is the wrong thing to say, but the meaning of that, which is it's going to be 2000 AD's 50th anniversary next year.
Mhm.
John became a regular presence on his co-creation because, of course, him and Carlos both walked away fairly early on, and then John and then eventually Carlos came back. We're talking a half a century of a comic book character that, even when you consider his writing partnership with Alan Grant ended in 88, 89.
Mhm.
Then other writers come on, notably Garth Ennis, Mark Miller, Grant Morrison, and subsequently a lot more. Rob Williams, Dan Abnett, Al Ewing, Simon Spurrier, loads and loads of writers have subsequently written for Judge Dredd. Even taking that into account,
Mhm.
John has still written the bulk of the character, and certainly if you narrow it down to like the key beats, the big stories, the key character moments, the new characters being introduced, things like that. I mean, that is a remarkable legacy. I mean, we went on about this extensively in our episode asking why he's not in the Eisner Hall of Fame yet.
Mhm.
Operative word being yet.
Mhm.
But it's just incredible. It's genuinely incredible. There's so few characters that you can even come close to that.
Well, I'm remiss to say it because I feel like, especially when you have such a powerhouse like Wagner who has written Judge Dredd and has all of this weight behind it. It almost feels like there's an immense pressure to anybody else who kind of follows in that. And there's pressure for the reader, but there's also pressure for people that kind of take on the mantle. But all of that to say, there are tons of people uh who write Judge Dredd. John Wagner has written Judge Dredd. Like, if that it does that make sense? And there's a lot of emphasis on a lot of syllables with this, but like, people can write Judge Dredd, but John Wagner has written Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
And kind of everything that we still, even now with other people writing these stories, the bulk has been set there. Like, there's this cornerstone, this building block that everybody's kind of like trying to build up on. And that's a hefty responsibility, especially with the possibility of that building block like being left as it is, and it's like, okay, now it's up to everybody else to carry this forward in that
And
spirit.
there's two elements here. Number one, that he created a character that has such a unique voice. There is such a unique character, but can stand being written by other people.
Yes.
But also that the voice of that character is so unique and so strong that it is a challenge, but not an insurmountable challenge for other writers to get it right. They just have
Yeah.
to pay attention to what John has done, and in my humble opinion, in the times when it's been gotten wrong, it's either because the writer has wished to not engage with the way, to move past or do their own thing with Dredd, or they have not been up to the task or have misunderstood what makes the character tick.
I think, well, I mean, whether from the creative teams or honestly from a lot of readers, like I feel like Dredd is very, very much a character that is quick and easy to be misinterpreted.
What do
um,
you reckon?
uh, as we have seen throughout many iterations and many decades. But yeah, it's really difficult to um it's not an insurmountable thing to be able to write Dread and to have other people write Dread. We have clearly seen for all of the, as you know, as you've kind of put it, as all of the misinterpretations have happened, there are also clearly people who get it. Um because for all it you can interpret Dread is a very, very objective figure.
Mm.
You know, there is a correct way to read and write him. And maybe I'm alone in thinking that, but I feel like it's very barbed, but
Mm.
it is an objective character. This is not meant to be a positive gray area of a character.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that people debate endlessly. But I mean, when I've written about Dredd, I've referred to him as a Rorschach test. That it
And that's
reveals
correct.
more about the person speaking than it does about necessarily the character. And so much of that, and I've explored that in interviews with John. I've explored it in print. That a lot of that is grounded not just in the kind of literature that John has clearly always enjoyed. So big fan
Mhm.
of noir writers, big fan of crime and spy fiction and things like that. But also in his own view of the world as
Mhm.
being many, many shades of grey.
Mhm.
And if anything, people trying to create black and white
Yes.
versions of the world just creates an even greater rainbow of nuance.
Yeah,
Um,
but that's kind of the funny, like, when I say that it's like he's such an objective character, he is objectively gray.
yeah.
And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
in
yeah,
the ugliest, weirdest sort of way. So,
yeah.
anyone who genuinely puts him into a black and white box, I always kinda go, "Okay, like, I can appreciate this for what it is, but I don't feel like you got it."
Mm,
Does
mm.
that make sense?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And the story, The Death of the Judge, we're only 2 episodes in, and, for me, this is classic late Wagner, where, and this seems to be something that he's done an awful lot. As soon as the episode starts, it's the Council of Five or it's the Chief
Mhm.
Judge's office, and he's laying out the kind of meta narrative of where this story is going to go. And it's usually Chief Judge Logan, who's and he did this with Hershey as well. And Rob Williams did this with Hershey as well. Basically, going, here's the difficult to square. Here's your square peg, and there's a round hole over there, and we're going to try and force them together. And Greg goes, not sure about that. And particularly when it's John manages to combine the political and the practical, in that it always seems to, with him, particularly with his Mechanismo, long running Mechanismo storyline, there is this pressure on the judges that is constantly forcing them to make quote unquote difficult decisions.
Mhm.
And more often than not, they like all authoritarian regimes, they choose the hardest hammer
Yes.
to crack that nut, and then they have to deal with it afterwards. And the America storyline, Democracy, the Mechanismo, the Pit, which is the great
Mhm.
'90s storyline that John wrote. You see again and again this dread being at the strike point of the hammer in all of these things, and it's so good. And a huge shout out to Mike Perkins,
Yeah.
who uh, I I think, and he can buy me a drink the next time he sees me for saying this. I think this is career high stuff.
Oh, I'd
Um,
agree with you 100%.
Particularly in the third page of the first episode, where you've got, it's that classic. It's the classic thing from the first Dredd movie. There's a block war going on, and
Mhm.
everyone's shooting, and Dredd pulls up, and it's just a scene of chaos. And you go, "Oh, well, Dredd's here, so he's
Yeah.
going to sort this all out." And there's something kind of uh, city level about the way that Mike has rendered Mega City 1. So you know, some
It's all very
artists.
it's all very looming. It's all
Yes.
very yeah.
Yeah. Some artists spend their time in the upper reaches of Mega City 1, some
Mhm.
spend it in the middle, and then my favorites are the ones who spend it on the ground at City Bottom.
Well, those are always the ones, especially when you get the, like, "Oh, Dredd has showed up." It's kinda it always hammers in the point for me when it is city level that it's like, "Oh, like, Mega City 1 as a whole is its own character that is in the same vein as Dredd as a character." It is this looming, ever-present, like, kind of horrific figure
Mm.
that it's yeah, it's I'd agree with you though. It's career high. It's beautiful. Like it's fantastic and it's effective in terms of setting the scene of where we are right now.
Mhm. And it's been interesting watching people speculate about what the story is gonna be. Because again, my for all of the kind of high level political stuff, my favorite Dread stories, I don't know about you, are always the ones where it's the individual crime, or it's the thing that's
It's a
happening
character
on.
study.
Yeah,
When it is actually a character study of an individual thing, those are the ones that always hit for me.
yeah, yeah. And what's been your reaction to the story so far, and how we're only 2 episodes in. Let's be
Well,
brutally
I was
frank.
gonna say, I actually, this is terrible for a podcast episode, my answer, but I always hesitate with, particularly with Wagner stories, but I honestly kind of feel this way about, Rob Williams writing Dread as well, which is because John is so incredibly skilled at, the subterfuge of it all,
Mm,
like,
mm,
you're gonna see part of a story, and then there's going to be 20 different elements on the horizon that you're never going to see coming, and one of those 20 things is going to be what wipes everything else out.
yeah.
And so I genuinely hesitate to um give a solid opinion
Mm.
about it like 2 episodes in. Ask me in another week or 2 and I'll give you something. But I really do I feel like giving us like I said, this is a terrible answer for a podcast, but I feel like giving any sort of like standalone opinion so early on is misjudging, ironically, misjudging Wagner.
Mm.
Because I know that whatever I feel about it now, I'm gonna be fucked in, like, a month with this. Like
Well, people are going to lose their shit when they see the cover for 2466. And again, it's like you say, it's one of those things that you never know where it's going to go. Uh,
Mhm.
one of the
That's what
joys,
I like.
one of the joys is speculating, and
Mhm,
I always think that speculation's best when it's fun,
mhm.
rather than necessarily people go, "Oh yeah, well this will definitely be it," and then getting annoyed when it's not what they imagined in their head because I
Oh,
didn't.
you
I
don't
think.
understand comics fandom of
Well,
the here
well,
and
yeah.
now.
I mean, I don't think John's ever let us down, even when
No.
it's not necessarily gone to where we wanted it to, or length of the story or whatever.
Well,
Um,
that's the funny part, right? Like, even with John's stories, if they don't go the way you want them to go, there's that slight like, "Oh, I wish I could have seen that." But you're never actually disappointed. Even the periods in John's career that anyone could deign to call rocky, I say with bunny ears, are still brilliant.
Mm.
you know, it's like there's no such thing, to me as a bad John Wagner story in
Mm.
Dredd. I have yet to find one where the entire way through I'm like, "Oh, this is balls." Nope, doesn't exist. So I know that even if this is, if this is meant to be his swan song, and if this is going to stretch for a good while, I can only assume that it is going to continue after
Mm.
these 2 episodes to be just one of the most magnificent pieces of Dread history that we're going to end up talking about, you know, God willing and the creek don't rise another 50 years from now.
When I'm a head in a jar and
Yeah, when we have you in the future, Amajar, I'm gonna make sure that you're in your, like, Witchfinder General outfit, though.
oh, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect.
It's
Thank
gonna
you.
be big jars, big hat.
I feel like we need to talk about the rest of the pod. I mean, there's stories that are continuing on from the big bumper Christmas prog
Mhm.
from December, and in this episode we got Hearn and Shuck, Young Death,
Mhm.
Azimuth, and the Discarded. And I wanted to talk to you about the Discarded because you were a fan of the opener, weren't you?
I was
Mm.
actually, yeah. I
And
was.
continue.
I was. I'm I wanna see where we're going.
Hmm.
I I wanna see how this plays out.
Mm.
It's I'm not ready to make strong opinions. This is me just being, like, middle of the fucking fence.
I
I'm
mean,
so sorry that this
you
is like this episode. It's our first episode back, and I'm like, "Ah, take it or leave it," like, on fucking everything. But, like, it's, I think it's really this is two-part.
mm,
1, I think it's really hard to be in the prog in the first couple for the beginning of the year,
yeah, yeah.
which I know it's planned out in advance, but I think that's, I think my brain resets reading in the new year, and so I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna give everything a chance." Um, but also what I wanted to follow up on, because you love to smoothly segue into every subject like a really, really good journalist, and I don't know how to do that. I I have wondered, knowing full well that, like, John was coming back to the Prague, and again, potentially, like, this being the last story, Judge Dredd story that he's doing, I wonder if it's difficult to be, like, another creator on another ongoing story in that same Prague.
Mm.
I'd be really curious because I feel like that is something that takes up a bit of a monopoly on readers' brains, right?
Mm.
So I'm always curious.
I it's interesting because I've always found Wagner to be like a writer's writer.
Yes, very much
You
so.
know, like people appreciate the craft. So,
Yeah, but it's not his fault,
oh no, no, no,
that, like,
absolutely, no,
it's not
absolutely,
his fault
absolutely.
that
I
just
I I think it's. I mean, we've mentioned this ad nauseum on this podcast. So apologies if this is dull to long time listeners, but for me, and I've said this before, the variety of 2000 AD is always the strength of
yes.
2000 AD. So yes, you've got John Wagner and Mike Perkins on Judge Dredd, um, but then you've got such different stories by different creators. You know, you've got Hearn and Shuck by David Barnett and Lee Milmore, Gary Caldwell and Annie Parkhouse. You've then got
Annie Parkhouse is killing it
oh,
still.
she's great. She's
Yeah,
great. I mean, I've had her on the podcast before. I mean, a number of years ago. But it was her and Ellie
Oh,
Deville,
okay.
who were like the lettering powerhouse.
Yeah.
After Tom Frame passed away, and I need to get her back on the show. I need to talk to her
Please.
again because
Please,
Yeah.
I would like if we can get her on to talk to her, I would love to too, because I've done an email interview with her before for my website, and she was just the most pleasant human being on the entire planet.
Shall I
So
shall I add it to the list?
add it to the list.
Add it to the list.
The really, really ominous list.
Yeah.
I think that I mean, it's kind of the running thing, and I tell it to people all the time when I'm selling up 2000 AD to people, be like, "You should try reading this." It's the beauty of anthology comics,
Mm,
right? Where you can have, the big powerhouse story, and also you're probably gonna find something else.
yeah.
And, like, 2000 AD is this wonderful thing where even if you don't like every single story, there's probably going to be 1 or 2 that you're gonna latch onto and be excited for every single week.
Yeah, exactly, I
And
mean, that may as well, I may as well put that at the end of the blurb of every single
yeah,
episode. We always come round to this. But,
yes,
you
but I
in
mean,
this,
like
you've also got Young Death by Kick W, Simon
yeah.
Boland. Sorry, Kick W, Mike Dowling and Simon Boland. My vision went blurry for a moment there. Completely fluffed that up. The continuation of Azimuth, Dan
Mhm,
Abnett, Fazio Bettin, Matt Soff, and Rob Steen. Um, and then there's The Discarded, which is Peter Milligan, Kieran McKeown, Jim Boswell, and Simon Boland. And the reason I wanted to talk about The Discarded, and we are going to talk about it whether you like it or not. I
well
note the
well
skillful way you dodged me asking what you thought.
no, I was actually just going to give you my opinion, but I'll wait.
Um, I wanted to talk about it because, in particular, narratives of resistance are, shall we say, prescient,
Prescient?
as indeed they always are. But
Yes.
it's not exactly something new. But I think this is where 2000 AD, the quick turnaround of 2000 AD helps, and also the kind of almost blind turnaround of 2000 AD, in that there's been multiple times in its history where it's looked incredibly prescient.
Mhm.
And it's coincident. It's just that the stock in trade of 2000 AD is about, the narratives of power and resistance. And you can boil every story in 2000 AD in this 2000 AD down to that. Um, but with something like The Discarded, it feels like Peter Milligan has been on this journey for a little while now, because he did, what was that other story he did? Was it year before last? About the space refugees.
Oh, wait, I know what you're talking about. Now I don't actually have a name to give you. Figure it
You
out.
you 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 fill in the noise and I'll look it up.
Okay. I will tell you this much. The reason why I'm hesitant to give an opinion is because what I worry about, and this is across all comics for me. This is not solely 2000 AD because, like you said, 2000 AD trades in,
Yeah.
prescient
Oh,
political
uh,
feeling.
Devil's Railroad.
There you go. I think that what it comes down to, and why I'm always hesitant to give an early opinion on any of this sort of stuff is so I still like The Discarded a lot,
Mm,
and it's because I will never not sing the praises of Milligan because I I can't dude's gonna hate me when he meets me because I'm just gonna be like, "Haha, I just think you're so fucking great." But I am always hesitant at stories of resistance right now because I am a reader that does not like to be spoon-fed,
mm.
and the reason why I'm not going to hold that worry is because it's Milligan writing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that he is someone who, with any story that he's done, is great at giving you the core message of what this resistance, what this story is meant to be about, and it's not spoon feeding you the message of this is how it should be, this is wrong, this is right. It's it's empathy. And I think that Milligan is such a such a good creator when it comes to creating a sense of empathy so that you don't even have to be told this is how you're supposed to feel about this story because you feel it in the characters. You feel it in the writing, you feel it in the world. And I feel like the artwork only serves to further that purpose. There, see, I did have an opinion. You just had to give me a fucking minute.
Well, it's good because it dovetails in my opinion. For me, Milligan has always been at his best when he is writing about the people who get the shitty end of the stick. It's about the ordinary folk, and for me, that goes all the way back to Bad Company, which
Mhm.
is a comic strip that we don't talk enough about. Shall I add it to the list?
I'm pretty sure I have that on my list already.
I'll put it there anyway.
Hold on
But
one second.
also, it's his writing is always best when it's talking about the people who are on the receiving end of power,
Yeah.
and how they survive within that framework and with that pressure. And there's that great Rufus Dayglow cover for Devil's Railroad, where it was the two characters, and there was a like a planet above them that was bearing down on them, and it's just what do people do when they're under pressure and they have no power when they
Yes.
when their response is empathy and
It's a very specific kind of pressure cooker.
yeah yeah.
Can I please, speaking of Milligan, real quick, I have to put this train off the tracks. Look at what I got for Christmas.
Oh, lovely. Will you please describe that to our listeners?
Yes, it is all 3 of the issues of Milligan and Duncan Fegredo's Girl, which for my money leaves kill your boyfriend dead gasping in a ditch. And yeah, I have very strong opinions about Girl, and I'm writing a whole big fuck off thing about it. But yeah, that too, kind of like it just reminded me of like Milligan just being empathetic almost
Mm,
to a fault
yeah.
almost to a fault in some of his stories. And I feel like The Discarded is going that way. I just am I've beaten shelter dog syndrome when it comes to a lot of like directly resistant stories
Mm,
because I know that like there's always this little chance where I'll be enjoying a book, I'll be enjoying this narrative, and then they like hit you with the and here's how you have to feel about it sort of
mm.
thing. And I'm like, oh, shut up. I know. I'm not stupid. And I just continually get at angry enough to bash my own desk over um uh people being treated readers being treated like they're stupid. And thankfully Milligan's very good at relying on the reader to also be empathetic.
Mm.
And so I'm holding out hope. Just keep doing a good job, Pete. Keep doing a good job.
Well,
You've got a weirdly uncomfortably loyal fan here.
the restraining order is always already in the post as we speak. Um, Bit of a rambly one this week, but
Mm.
I hope you'll forgive us for not being quite recovered from the
I
festive
think that
season.
you know what? No, because
Mm.
again, we're gonna prove that the people love the ramble, first of all. But also, like, if you ask me, this is how comics should be talked about.
Mm, mm.
Being able to come up with stuff on the fly or to change your mind or to just because how you and I talk about this stuff is how most people are probably talking about it.
That is true, and thank God we don't record all of our conversations, which
For multiple,
for
like,
many.
moral and legal reasons.
But I'm sure people will find them fascinating. It's just we go to jail. But we should be back in 17 times. That does not bode well for the rest of the year that I can't even get the kicker out.
It
Right.
sure does.
We shall be back in 7 days' time, Earthlets, with more from the galaxy's greatest podcast. There we go. I got through it in the end.
Yeah.
If you are not reading 2000 AD right now, I implore you to subscribe, either
Give it a
digitally or in
go.
print, because you're missing out. Let's be brutally honest with you. And you don't want to be a fool, do you? So go along to 2000AD.com and click on the subscriptions button. Make sure you get your copies. And if you talk very nicely to our customer services droid, Cameron, then I'm sure he'll make sure that you start on the very latest issue of 2000 AD.
You know, all of the end of last year, a lot of the messages that I got on Blue Sky, both in comment form and just in direct messages, were people saying that they had not been reading the Prog for a very long time, decades even, plural. And that listening to us brought them back into the fold. And you know what? Those are rookie numbers. We're getting those numbers up this year.
It's what we're here for.
Like,
what we're here for. It's why I've got this ridiculous microphone on my desk, which rattles when I type. But you know, that's my problem. But yes, we should be back next week, Earthlights. Thank you for tuning in. Very glad that you're sticking with us for 2026. Exciting year ahead. Yeah. So we'll see you. And I've really run out of steam at the end of this episode. Borag, no, not Borag Thung. Spunding Thrig. Ah!
See you next week.
Get 2000 AD now. Get 2000.